Today's first shoutout goes to Rage Play Commentaries. Join me in their LP of Mega Man X4 and subscribe to them if you find their content satisfactory. Our second shoutout goes to Gobana9456 who recorded most of the footage featured in this video. Yeah, I know that it's odd to be giving a shoutout to someone who's like 50 times more popular than me, but hey, I've been watching that guy's stuff since ages ago when he was just a wee little mite like me, and watched him grow, so I got nothing. Anyway, thanks for the good gameplay footage, Cobi. Today we're taking a break from the Spider-Man retrospective to check out a Mario game. Which one? There's like so many of them. Yeah, it's no secret that Nintendo has more or less been milking Mario for all he's worth. Not necessarily with the occasional and widely appreciated 3D games, but through competent yet nonetheless lukewarm rehashes of the 2D games, mostly Mario 3, since a lot of people seem to think that's the best Mario game for some reason. It was fun the first time on the DS, it was alright on the Wii. New Super Mario Bros. 2 may just as easily be heaven or hell for kleptomaniacs and a simple time waster for anyone else. All of these are very fine games, but this is Mario we're talking about. Mr. Video Game. His adventure should be utterly sublime. Even the worst Mario games are still usually okay. Heck, Sunshine is one of my favorite Mario games in spite of its flaws. Please don't click that back button just yet. Not the X button either. But yeah, just good doesn't quite cut it in Mario's case. So what's the biggest complaint when it comes to a lot of these Mario games? They're all the same! Granted, I think that way of looking at it is a little more simplified than I should like, but then we come back to Sunshine. See, a couple of generations ago, Nintendo had something of a renaissance and tried out a lot of wacky new things. Say what you will about the GameCube, but some of my favorite games were born on that console. However, as unique as some of these games Nintendo was making back then were, there weren't a lot of people who appreciated that. Whenever you mention Mario Sunshine or Luigi's Mansion or whatever, you're bound to hear someone complain that it's not Mario, it's too different, not Mario 64, give us more of that. Basically, these narrow-minded phoebes felt alienated by such games, and, well, Nintendo listened to you poor things, hence why a lot of these Mario games exist. Now don't get me wrong, the Galaxy games are phenomenal and very interesting, even with all the recycled schlock. But for those purists who really do just want the same thing over and over and over again, well, now you have the rest of the Mario games. Now any chance of something unique and different and cool and new like Sunshine being made has been pretty much completely stamped out. Thanks, guys. This is your fault. So with that tangent over with, I suppose you're waiting for an answer to this. Is New Super Mario Bros. U a cut above the rest? Is it that game that finally leaves its own mark in the vast video game landscape and doesn't just comfortably step into a dusty footprint left behind by its superior predecessors years beforehand? The answer is, yeah, kinda. As if I haven't derailed this review enough though, now we're gonna talk about something completely unrelated to Mario for a moment.
Alright, here's you. Choo choo! Choo choo! Chugga 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 chugga! Ah! Millions are dead!
Just hear me out, guys. To me, this is the first-person shooter. Yeah, you got your children's online daycare and Doom, and make no mistake, I'm not saying COD is comparable to Doom, not by a long shot. However, there's something about Halo that, surprise surprise, actually makes it one of my favorite games. Please don't click that back button just yet. But anyway, there's just something timeless about Halo. The controls are so great that walking into it when I was younger, having no clue what the game was about or anything, as I was just playing it at a friend of a friend's house and I never even heard of this game before, let alone touched an Xbox, I found myself getting the hang of it in no time, and the controls still easily hold up to this day. Heck, how many LPs of Halo 4 have you seen in which you've heard someone say, "Oh my god, this feels so natural"? Not but a few seconds into the game. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, because the gameplay is already so good that it doesn't need to be changed much, only refined to absolute perfection. Now before I start to sound like a total Halo fanboy, which I probably already do, let me make one thing perfectly clear. I don't care about Halo as a series. The franchise in general just isn't my thing and doesn't draw me in that much, but I do have a soft spot for the first one, and I love Halo 4. Here's why. While the gameplay is mostly consistent all the way through, what is there to keep these games from getting all too samey and tired and repetitive like Mario? Not much really. I mean, what's the most important thing that can be done for a game once the gameplay is tweaked to be pretty much perfect? Simple. Just give us a cool, creative environment to step into. Halo 1 delivers. The original game has, without a doubt, the most unique setting I have ever seen in a video game. Most of it takes place on this giant space ring thingy. You run along the inside of it and you see trees growing. You see lakes. You look to either side and you see space. You look further ahead and you see this familiar looking yet undeniably bizarre landscape curl up into the sky. What the frack is going on here? It's incredible! I mean, come on, who here who's played Halo didn't, upon realizing what they were standing on, look straight up and think, if I just start walking, I wonder how long it would take me to reach the other end of this thing, and look straight up from there down to where I'm standing right now? It's incredible when a game can pull you into its world so aggressively that you start pondering things like that. Most of the other Halo games are still good games gameplay-wise, but the war-torn Earth occupied by the Covenant and all that just isn't nearly as charming or mystifying of a setting as that of the Halo ring itself. I mean, come on, the wow factor is mostly gone. It's dissolved. I mean, most of them are still good games, but I wouldn't call them masterpieces like the original. As a result, I just don't care for those other games because they don't yank me in. Sounds a lot like something else we should be talking about. However, Halo 4 is the first since the original to do what Halo does best. In this game, they finally recaptured that timeless sense of adventure and uncontainable wonderment that the first instilled in me so many years ago. It's just crazy alien set piece after crazy alien set piece, one after another, relentlessly thrown your way. It's great. What I'm getting at with all this is, a big part of what makes games fun and unique is how they look. That's not all there is to it, and some of you may think I'm being superficial or some nonsense, but if the gameplay is good, the next most important thing the developers can possibly do to complement the gameplay is to give you a cool world to run around in. Now make no mistake, I'm not talking about graphical capabilities alone, though that certainly does help. I'm talking about art direction. I mean, you could have a game that's refined to perfection and all that, but let's strip away all the colors, textures, lighting, and all that stuff that brings a game to life, and you're just playing as a featureless dot, a giant pixel that just slides across a featureless landscape of an empty level with no animations or anything. It would be fucking boring, that's what. There are games whose creators filled them with a passion and made them beautiful through the art direction and unique design philosophies in spite of their graphical limitations, such as the Mega Man Zero series. I know I've been rambling about this for a long time, but I think you may see what I'm getting at by now. So let's talk about Mario. Jeez, about time, am I right? I know. I don't care much for the new Super Mario Bros. Games, which you could probably already guess by now. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big Mario fan in spite of all the things I've been saying. Sure, these games are a good way to pass the time at a friend's house while you're waiting for them to get going somewhere because you came to pick them up a little earlier than they expected you to and you need something to amuse yourself with while they get dressed, or if you find a demo at Walmart. But I could never be compelled to actually buy any of these games. However, You is the first of these games to make me excited enough to buy it. Let's compare the scenery of the Wii game to the Wii U game. Okay, so, grass, dirt, tall stumpy hills, some featureless clouds, same old enemies. Yeah, let's face it, this really does look like the sort of thing a 5-year-old will come up with. That's what a lot of COD fanboys say about a lot of Mario games, that they're all the same, blah blah blah, and no better than their games. But let's take a look at the Wii U game. Oh look, we're back in the bland-ass setting from the Wii game. Alright, here we go, another round of the same old stale schlock. Hey, wait, where are we going? What the holy look at all this! The world map is really a vast, intricate world, and not just a line across a bland field. It's littered with landmarks that appear in the background of the stages. And just look at how the foreground pops so vividly against the colors of the background. The clouds and everything just have so much more detail. It's just so gorgeous and rich. The coolest thing is how cohesive it all is. Like I said, there are landmarks in the world map that are relevant to the levels you run around in. Even in the first level, right from the get-go, you see Princess Peach's castle, establishing that you're gonna have to go for a long hike from here to there. Yeah, you're walking there. It all just makes it feel like a real 3D world that you're viewing from next to Mario, rather than running along a bunch of boring wallpapers. And this is how a 2.5D game should feel. The gameplay is better than ever. Everything on the world map is so intricately interconnected. The level design is over the top and so full of energy. Honestly, the Wii game felt like it may as well have had some built-in level maker system that lets you copy and paste blocks everywhere to make your own original levels, but there's just so much more meat to this game. It finally feels like they really put a lot of passion and effort into making the coolest game they possibly could out of a 2D Mario, because the world is just so intense and vast and alive. Yeah, you've got the beach world and the ice world and the desert world and so on, but like I said, they feel so much more alive than the counterparts from previous games. It's not better by a teensy little margin, it really is so much better. One of my favorite things about it is how there are many stages in the game stand out from each other, even if they take place in the same world. There's a level with a giant Easter Island heads that fall down, there's a level where the gears that roll along and crush you, there's a level where the stars that spin around when you stand on them, there's a level with a sea monster, there's a level that looks like a painting by Vincent van Gogh, there's a level where you ride a wiglet through the swamp, there's a Jack and the Beanstalk level, there's a level where you're chased around by this giant hand that destroys huge chunks of the stage itself. Sure, Mario Wii had its share of interesting level gimmicks, some of which even return in this game, but last time overall, that just wasn't enough to stop a lot of the stages from just blending together. In this game, they do a much better job making every single stage they possibly can as unique as can be, only extremely rarely resorting to reusing a gimmick that was already the main focus of another stage earlier in the game or anything like that. There's always something new right around the corner and it's great. It's also ingenious how they teach you certain things with absolutely no need for instructions. I'm gonna take a page from Eagle Raptor's Mega Man X Sequelitis video to show you what I mean. When you begin the first stage, you almost immediately see a Waddle Wing gliding overhead carrying an acorn power-up. Now let's say you're a first-time player who doesn't know anything about this particular Mario game. You see the guy gliding and you think, man, I wish I could do that. Well, fortune favors the bold, and if you take him down, you can don the acorn suit right off the bat. And hey, now you have flying squirrel wings just like the enemy did. Maybe you can glide down just like he did. Holy shit, you can! So yeah. Oh, and then a little later on, you see another Waddle Wing fly straight into a wall, and instead of crashing, he grabs the wall and hangs onto it for a bit before flying the other way, and so on. And hey, wait. Holy shit, I can do that too!
I guess that enemy is showing you what you can do with the acorn suit.
Oh, that's nice. I actually didn't notice that before.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah, this may seem like kid stuff, but how many games teach you things like this without a text box popping up or having to go through some contrived tutorial level before the actual game starts? This game is fantastic. The controls are great and have a sense of weight and momentum to them that I didn't see in the Wii game, and it really does make the overall experience better. The bosses are, not that challenging, but far more imaginative than in previous games. The story is... actually, it's kinda unique. Instead of Bowser kidnapping Princess Peach, he takes over the Mushroom Kingdom, and it's more of a home invasion than the usual affair. I have a much stronger incentive to make my way back to the castle than to journey to some generic volcanic wasteland that so badly wants to be Mordor but isn't. The music... this is definitely the weakest part of the game. It's like they came up with a few new tunes to show off at E3 and then just gave up on making any more. So yeah, they reuse more than a few tracks. Still, I love the new tracks they did make just for this game. There's a lot more pep to the composition of the main theme song of this game than in Mario Wii, despite the two songs sharing a similar beat. The environments are lovely. There's a surprising amount of detail, they're exploding with colors, everything is complemented by a nice smooth frame rate that never lets up, at least from my experience, and the settings feel huge and grand. At times this really is just so beautiful that it makes other 2D Mario games look like shovelware compared to it. Not everyone's gonna be impressed, but I really think this is the best we can expect a 2D Mario game to be visually without the devs trying to make it realistic or some asinine crap like that. As I've said, all of the games I've mentioned are good, but for Mario, just good really isn't that good. Good doesn't always cut it. This is the first truly great game in the new Super Mario Bros. Series, the first that is fittingly becoming of the Italian plumber and stacks up right up there with the NES and Super Nintendo games. In my eyes, the only injustice to be found here is that not enough people acknowledge this game for what it really is. There's too many people who just brush this off as just another run-of-the-mill Mario game like all the other ones and nothing more. I know I'm gushing over this particular game a little much, but come on, this game easily blows all those other new games out of the water. They're all the same, so what's the point of playing them? They really were trying this time. I mean, the gameplay's as good as... Actually, it's better than ever, so all the developers can really do to change things up at all is give you a realm to explore that feels new and unexplored. And you know what? New Super Mario Bros. U delivers. Where so many others failed, we finally have a game that clearly has passion and soul put into it. A Mario game that has its own identity. Well, sort of. Like I said earlier, a lot of Mario games aggressively channel Mario 3 to rub up nostalgic suckers who saw the wizard when they were a kid, and, well, this game isn't entirely guiltless or original. Instead of Mario 3, though, this game channels Mario World. In fact, it's been nicknamed New Super Mario World. But hey, I'm cool with the game following the example of that, considering World is the greatest Mario game of all time. This is certainly the best 2D Mario game released since then, and as crazy as this sounds, I actually think that in some ways, this game is even better. Please don't click that back button just yet. I'm serious, I got this game simply for how great it looks. Well, that and the near-perfect gameplay, which is better than the more tame Wii and 2 games. So yeah, I won't argue when people say, if you played one 2D Mario game, you've played them all. Yeah, it's true, but if that's the case, why not this one? Can you really deny that this is the ultimate, incomparable, supremely refined Mario experience of this day and age that all others pale in comparison to? But I understand that not everyone is gonna spend $300 on the Wii U just to play this game. Heck, my Wii U was a Christmas present, and I am grateful for that. However, to those for whom it is somehow feasible that they may be able to acquire this game, I can't recommend it enough. It really doesn't even need a rating. Just take my word for it that it's great. If not the first truly great Mario game in a long, long time. Heck, I'm just gonna call it Super Mario Bros. 5 from now on. Before I end the video, I just want to point out that I haven't actually played Halo 4, but having played the first and seeing how faithful this is to that, I know that if I had it, I'd feel right at home. I love this game and would love to play it, but, well, I'm not gonna get a console just for the sake of playing one game. Ironic, isn't it? Please, Nintendo, just end this gaming drought already. This is all I've been playing on the Wii U for months and there's so much dust on it. Please, just give me something else to play.
New Super Luigi U.
Oh, fuck.